Former President Donald Trump thinks Arizona Senate candidate Kari Lake is a loser. I'm not even kidding. This was a surprising story reported by the Washington Post. They claim that since Lake jumped into this Senate race, Trump has repeatedly expressed skepticism about her political prospects in a state he sees as key to his bid to return to the White House, and has shown annoyance with her frequent presence at his Florida resort, Mar-a-Lago. And that's according to 5 people who are close to Trump, who spoke, of course, on the condition of anonymity to describe his comments. So one thing that's clear about Trump is he doesn't really take kindly to individuals that he views as losers. And typically he makes that thought process well known, right? So when he was going after John McCain, he viciously attacked John McCain for being a prisoner of war, which was, look, say what you want to say about John McCain. There's a lot of areas in which John McCain should have been criticized. Him being a prisoner of war was not it, but Trump saw that as, oh, John McCain is a loser. His plane got shut down. He became a prisoner of war. And so he kind of treats politicians that way as well, including individuals like Kari Lake, who lost the gubernatorial race in Arizona. At one point last year, after grumbling for months that Kari Lake was at his Mar-a-Lago club too often, Trump gently, I think gently is a very generous word used here. Trump gently suggested that to Lake that she should leave the club and hit the campaign trail in Arizona, according to a person with direct knowledge of his comments. I can't believe that she would even need to get that kind of advice from Donald Trump. If you're running for Senate, that doesn't mean that you just need to appeal to a single district in your state. You're running for Congress as a representative. No, you need to appeal to Republican voters and some independent voters throughout the entire state of Arizona. What are you doing in Mar-a-Lago? Donald Trump can't steal the election for you. I get that you like to be there. You like to rub shoulders with Trump and his friends, but you're not going to win a Senate candidate if you're spending all this time in Florida.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's going to make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Now, Trump has already decided against picking Lake as his running mate because she lost the gubernatorial race in Arizona. So if you're wondering whether Kari Lake is still a contender, it appears that's not the case. And a lot of people also believe that Kristi Noem is also someone who's no longer considered by Donald Trump, but we'll get to that later in the show. It has a lot to do with the fact that she felt the need to disclose killing a puppy in a book that she wrote. We'll get to that later. But for now, Trump apparently said she didn't win of Kari Lake. He told one political ally over dinner at Mar-a-Lago earlier this year. And Lake is apparently turning moderates in the state of Arizona off. Keep in mind, Arizona is a swing state, so you do need to appeal to moderates. In January, Arizona Republicans were privately registering alarm to Trump about Lake's candidacy. During one conversation, the former president asked for an assessment of his standing in the state, according to one person familiar with the conversation. The Republican told him that he was in good shape, but that Lake was in trouble, largely because of her attacks on John McCain or McCain Republicans, whom she urged to get the hell out of the GOP during her first run for office. So when she was running for governor, she has since said that this comment was in jest. Was it, Kari? Was it? Like, who is Kari Lake really? That's what I want to know. What does she stand for? What are her principles? What are her values? I think what muddles her true identity or her political identity is the way she's handled the abortion ban in Arizona. When the highest court in the state, Arizona Supreme Court, ruled that a anti-abortion law dating back to the mid-1800s could absolutely be brought back and implemented. At first, she freaked out about it because she knows that it's not a popular policy to support. First, she said that they should repeal it immediately. Then she seemed to warm up to the idea of implementing that draconian anti-abortion law. And so she flip-flops and she tends to try to see, where are the politics of the Republican Party leaning in this moment? And let me just go in that direction because I want to win. But I think voters are smarter than that. I think voters see that kind of flip-flopping. They see the endless, pathetic pandering to Donald Trump without even offering your own brand of politics or your own policy solutions. And I think they get turned off by it. And then when you consider the fact that John McCain was a huge figure in Arizona as a United States senator, attacking him, not a good move. And apparently the stench of that misstep continues to follow her as she runs for Senate in the state of Arizona. Now, the Republican told him that he was in good standing, so Trump's good, apparently, in the state of Arizona. And we have covered some of the polling coming out of the swing states that shows that Trump is beating Biden in a lot of these swing states. Some of those states, it's within the margin of error. And so we'll see how it plays out for Biden. But let's stick to Kari Lake and Donald Trump souring on her. So Trump's top advisors were also pretty upset that an ally of Lake's had released an audio recording of then Arizona GOP chair Jeff DeWitt. We actually covered this on the show. She had been secretly recording the meeting that she had with Jeff DeWitt, and then one of her allies released it. And in that recording, you can hear DeWitt encourage her to drop out of the race. Seemed like there was some quid pro quo happening where, some shadowy figures would do some favors for her if she agreed to drop out of the race. Now, this deeply embarrassed DeWitt, and it should have. It's pretty greasy, gross politics. And it led to him stepping down from his post. Now, the episode also prevented elected Republicans in Arizona from communicating with her because of the obvious fact that they can't trust her. Once you know someone is secretly recording your conversations, you're not gonna wanna have conversations with them. And so it has caused a rift between Kari Lake and the Republican Party in the state of Arizona. Trump was more surprised than angry when told about the January incident, according to 3 people familiar with his reaction. She tapes everything? That's good to know. Then there's her Democratic challenger and how he actually managed to get bribed more than she did. But in this case, look, I'd rather have a Democrat elected in the state of Arizona to serve in the United States Senate rather than, supporting someone like Kari Lake. I think Kari Lake is just a vapid, empty shell of a person who doesn't really stand for anything. She'll pander to anyone she feels she needs to in order to accumulate power for herself. And it appears that even though someone like Trump does the same, he kind of doesn't like it when other politicians do it. Now, her fundraising is not as impressive as the Democratic challenger here, Representative Ruben Gallego. So Lake's fundraising has lagged behind Gallego's. She had about 2.5 million cash on hand at the end of last quarter, compared with nearly $10 million reported by the Gallego campaign. So we'll see how that Senate race plays out. At first, she got a little bit of a bump in the polling following her ally releasing that recording of the conversation she had with DeWitt. It appears that some of that, spike has evaporated since then, and we'll see how it plays out. But the fact that Trump has now soured on Kari Lake does not bode well for her. And based on what the reporting indicates, her spending so much time at Mar-a-Lago instead of doing the work in Arizona to win the race, it's not gonna work out so well for her, I suspect. And she really only has herself to blame. So we'll see how that plays out. Overall, if you're hoping that she doesn't get elected, this is good news. And I am curious what the commentary from the Trump supporters will be moving forward, because overall they had been pretty supportive of Lake, but they might sour on her too, considering these updates about how Trump feels about her.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.